Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, most of my subscribers are men, usually from 50 and up. And I hear from them all the time. They run into them here in Dumageddon. They message me, email me. And there's a new trend in America. I'm not sure what they call it in other countries, but in America, they're calling it elder orphans. And apparently there's a lot of seniors who are basically on their own. They live alone. They don't have any close friends or family. They might be estranged from their children, not have any children. They're divorced or never married. And they're living alone. They don't have anybody that help them out with anything. And as long as your health is good and you don't mind being alone, they do okay. But then, as we all know, eventually something happens and you need help from somebody else. And these guys are just totally by themselves. AARP says that 12% of people 50 and over are considered elder orphans, so they're living by themselves. And a large percentage of the homeless in America too are also elder orphans too, and there's no infrastructure in America for taking care of these people. In the Philippines, I see guys all the time. I saw one today. A gentleman came into the restaurant very disabled. He was walking, but his one leg was shriveled and twisted to one side, and his right arm was withered too. I thought at first he had a stroke, but once I kind of looked at him a little closely, I realized that he was probably born that way. But anyway, he had a lady with him, older Filipina. She looked like she was about 50 or 60, and she drove the car, dropped him off, got him inside the restaurant, sat down with them. They ordered their food together. And I kind of noticed their interaction. They seemed like they were good friends and laughing about things, and he seemed very happy. And this is a man who obviously couldn't take care of himself, and so he had himself a caretaker. And that's something I want to talk about, because in America, when your time comes and all of a sudden you're not able to care for yourself, I mean, what are your choices? What are you going to do? Are you going to end up in a nursing home where they take your Social Security or your pension or whatever money you've got and put you in a nursing home, and then they decide what they're going to do with you, how they're going to care for you, what you're going to eat for dinner, what you're going to watch on TV. They control your whole life. And you could end up there for years and years and years. And who wants to be that? Who wants to be an elder orphan in a nursing care facility in America or in any country? Because from what I've heard, it's not a very good place to be. And unfortunately, a lot of Americans, especially American men, they're saying like 77%, haven't made any kind of plans at all for when they're not able to take care of themselves. Some have retirement, they have their pension, but they haven't really made a plan, like a living will or a power of attorney with someone they can trust to look after themselves. But in the Philippines, it's different. For those of you that have watched my channel for a while, you know that I worked on cruise ships for like 35 years, traveled all over the world. I don't know how many countries I've been to, but I've been all over Europe, South America, the Middle East, everywhere. And this started back in the 1980s when I started working on cruise ships. And I so wish that I had something like this. And I don't have one. It didn't exist back then. It's a translator from Time Kettle, and it's absolutely amazing what this little device will do. And so they reached out to me. I said, okay, I'll try it out. I don't have any sponsors. I've turned down every sponsorship over the last almost 4 years now. This is the only one that I've accepted. And I'm very proud to be endorsing this product. And I'm just going to tell you a few of the features, then I'm going to show you a little demonstration with my friend Steven so you can see how it works. So I'm just going to read some notes right here I have about this little device. And the first one is it's an actual product. You can buy it now. It includes a 2-year worldwide data plan. It includes a standout feature, which is the ability to translate offline. You don't have to be hooked up to the internet to use this. You've got 8 languages you can use online. If you go online, you got another 40 languages, and you can download different languages also. 93 different dialects, for example, French and Spanish have different dialects, different places. You can actually choose the dialect that you want. And the best feature, of course, is the one-click translation. That's what I use the most. 2 little buttons right there. You press one, speak English. The person that you're talking to, they press the other button, speak their language, and it translates it within seconds. Incredible. It's got a very cool feature called spectator mode. So let's say you're a college student and you're going to school in France, but you're from America. you speak French, but you have to really think about it. Well, you're in your lecture there, you can take this little device, put it in spectator mode, set it on your desk in front of you, and it will translate live what the speaker is saying, and it does it by text. So you're not disturbing anybody, there's no voice coming out or making any sounds at all. It just records. You can just be listening to the lecture and looking down at your translator, and you can see the whole text of what's going on in front of you. Very cool. And so it's just a great device. I'm endorsing it. I'm not a tech reviewer. I don't review tech devices. I'm even not a tech person, to tell you the truth. And that's what's so nice about it. It was very easy to figure out how to use this. Very simple. And so, okay, we got coming up, my friend Steve is going to sit down with me. We're going to try it out, and you're going to see how it actually works live stream. Well, guys, this is the part of the video where we're actually going to get to test this little gem out right here. And you can see, here's the screen. And the way this one is set up, there's a little blue button. You can probably see there, blue button and red button. The blue button we've got set up for English, and the red button is for German. And my friend Steve here speaks German, so he's agreed to help me test this out for the first time. And also, he read the manual for me because it's very small type. I couldn't read it. So I really appreciate Steven's help here. So I'm going to give it to him. He's going to say something, and then we'll see how it translates. We're going to try it out. So here we go.
Du bist jetzt 5 Jahre in den Philippinen, hast eine Frau und ein Kind. Würdest du jemals wieder nach Amerika ziehen mit beiden?
Right.
You've been in the Philippines for 5 years now. You have a wife and a child. Would you ever move back to America with both of them?
We've talked about that, but I don't think we ever would. We're so happy here in the Philippines, and everything is going so well here. Beautiful place by the beach. And so, no, I mean, for now, I can't imagine leaving the Philippines.
Wir haben darüber gesprochen, aber ich glaube nicht, dass wir das jemals tun würden. Wir sind hier auf den Philippinen so glücklich und alles läuft hier so gut. Ein wunderschöner Ort am Strand. Und nein, ich meine, im Moment kann ich mir nicht vorstellen, die Philippinen zu verlassen.
So is that pretty accurate?
Yes.
So that was really the first time we tried this. We're saying the first time we tried it, look how easy it is. And what I love about this is you got the text, and so I could give this to Steve, and he wasn't sure what was just said. He can read it in German, and what I said is in English right below it. So it's just fantastic. Let's try something else here. I'm going to ask him a question here. So I just push the little button here. So Steve, have you ever been on the ferry here in the Philippines to go to any other islands before?
Also Steve, waren Sie hier auf den Philippinen schon einmal mit der Fähre zu anderen Inseln?
Ja, ich bin zweimal auf den Fähren hier in Philippinen nach Siquijor und wieder zurück.
Yes, I have been to and from the bear trail here in the Philippines twice. Yes.
So what did you think about the ferry ride? Do you remember how much it cost to go over to Siquijor, which we can literally see from my backyard right here, but how much did they charge you?
Was dachten Sie also über die Fahrt mit der Fähre? Wissen Sie noch, wie viel es kostet, ins Säkulare zu fahren, das wir von meinem Hinterhof aus sehen konnten? Aber wie viel haben Sie von Ihnen verlangt?
Mit meinem Motorrad war es 900 Pesos. Für mich und meine Frau hat 500 bezahlt. Wenn wir nur ohne Motorrad fahren, dann wären es 500 pro Person.
With my motorcycle, it was 900 pesos. For me and my wife paid 500. If we only travel without the motorcycle, then it would be 500 per person.
Fantastic. That's exactly what he said. So you can see how two people who speak different languages could sit down and, yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there when you push the button, but you could literally have a conversation about anything. You could talk about politics. You could talk about science. The vocabulary here is pretty well unlimited. And it's just really handy to have something like this to travel with. And I know people are going to say, well, Mark, there's an app I can get from my phone. There's an app I can get from my phone to do the same thing. However, like, do you really want to be holding up your $1,000 iPhone while you're walking around in some city in a country you've never been to before, and you're using it to take pictures. Because also you can take a picture of a sign, and it'll translate that sign into your language. Say if it's in Russian, it'll show you what the sign says in English. You even do it for a menu. Um, but you really want to be taking your expensive phone when you're walking around someplace like, say, Barcelona, beautiful city, but it can be dangerous there. You got your phone, you're holding it around, someone just snatches your phone out of your hand. Then you lost your banking information, you lost your pictures, you lost everything. But if you got this little device here, yeah, it's a shame to lose it, but it's only like $250. And all you lost was the device. You didn't lose all your pictures, you didn't give out your banking information. And it's small, so you can hold it in your hand, people don't even see it. And so it's just very convenient, incredible technology, and I think it's just fantastic. So anyway, check out the link below if you want to know about where to get one of these. They'll ship it right to you, and you're going to love it as much as I do. Thank you. In the Philippines, because labor is so inexpensive here, you can hire a full-time caregiver. And I've noticed more and more elderly men, of course I'm elderly myself, calling these guys elderly, coming to the Philippines. One gentleman who I interviewed on this channel, he was like 87 years old when he came to the Philippines from England. Said he was just waiting to die back in England. Over here, he's got a caretaker. I'm not sure what he pays her, but she cooks for him, cleans for him, looks after him. And he's got somebody else too. I think he's got two of them. And he lives in a nice little house up in Valencia, has his garden in the back, and he's happy. But you have to ask yourself, first of all, if you've decided that you want to get out of your country, whether it's America or wherever it is, and you want to come to the Philippines, and let's say you're pushing 70, you're going to have to plan for what are you going to do, what's your life going to be like if you make it to 80, what if you make it to 90, what if you come down with dementia? What is your plan? What are you going to do? You're going to need someone to take care of you. I see guys all the time, visited one in the hospital last week who had dementia and was just totally incapable of taking care of himself in any way, shape, or form. He couldn't do anything by himself, nothing. And you don't want to end up like that. I mean, I don't. I've had heart trouble. I just soon drop dead than end up like that. But if you're just aging, and as you get older, you can't do the things you used to be able to do. And also, it's safety too, because I knew a gentleman in his 80s here in the Philippines, in Dumaguete, and living alone. He was fine with health, everything was good, but he fell down in his apartment. And as we know, seniors fall all the time. It's the most common way that seniors die or get injured. And he fell down, he couldn't get himself back up, didn't have his phone with him. And he laid there for all night long until the next day somebody finally found him and got him up. But if you have a live-in caretaker, someone who's taking care of you, cooking your meals, cleaning the house, making sure you take your medication, hopefully somebody that can drive too, that can get you from place to place, then if that had happened, they would just help you get up. My friend Steven told me about his mother in Germany just when he went to visit her. Fortunately, he was visiting her and it was at her house when she fell in the bathroom, cut her head very badly. She would have bled to death, but Steven just happened to be there visiting and he was able to help her. Now she's got a special device that she can push the button and get help, but they don't have that here in the Philippines. You need a real person, and it's so inexpensive. You could get somebody to come in and live with you for, say, $500 a month to look after you, help clean the house, cook your meals, entertain you, play cards with you, and a companion. I'm not talking about sex, I'm talking about a companion. And when you get older, you have to decide, what are your priorities? What are you coming to the Philippines for? When you get to be, 60, 70 years old, you're not thinking about, intimacy. You're thinking about companionship. That's what's more important. That's why marriages that are good last a long time, because these people, they enjoy each other's company. And so you treat it like a job interview. You come over here, you get settled in, and you start interviewing people, men and women, doesn't matter. Some guys have a man that lives with them. Some of them have a woman, it doesn't matter. And you interview them and find someone who is a perfect fit for your personality, who speaks good English or whatever language is your first language. And they move in with you on a trial basis, and you just see how it works out. And once you get comfortable with it, it's like you have a friend too. Yeah, you're supporting them, but it's a symbiotic relationship. You're supporting them financially, but they're looking after you. And their best interests are that you're happy and healthy and live as long as possible. And it gives you your freedom back. It gives you your power back. You have control over your life. You're not dependent on being in a nursing home and having not being able to go anywhere or do anything. These guys I know that have a caretaker instead of a wife or a girlfriend, they're happy. You know, if they want to go see their friends and have a beer, their caretaker takes them down to wherever it is they want to meet their friends. They have a beer, either stays with them or picks them up when they're finished. And they go play cards. They have, you know, different things they do, different activities. But they've got someone with them. And when you're not lonely, you know, that does a lot for your well-being. And I think it's really important to think about that. But you have to have a plan. You can't just come over here in your 70s and think that, you know, it's all going to be great, you know, and what's going to happen when you're 80 or 90, you don't even think about it. Don't put your head in the sand. Have a plan. And if you start early, especially if you're not in a relationship, this probably works best for guys who are not in a relationship and don't plan on getting married or anything like that. And I talk to a lot of men, look, I want to come to the Philippines for financial reasons. I want to come to the Philippines because I'm tired of the way things are in my country. That's the only reason I want to come here. And I just want a nice, quiet, peaceful life. But they realize that, yeah, I don't get around like I used to. My hip's starting to go out a little bit. My back bothers me a bit. Sometimes I forget to take my medication. And so they find someone to move in with them and help look after them. And they're just much happier. And I think they actually live longer. Another thing is like anxiety. Like, if you're by yourself and say you're in America and every day is the same. Every day is the same. And you start worrying about things. You start worrying about what you're going to do. You start worrying about what if, my rent goes up? What if my car breaks down? What if, what if, you just keep worrying about things. And you're getting more and more anxious. And this is a real problem with seniors because they start worrying about things because they're by themselves all the time. So all they do is think about what could possibly go wrong. And they worry about, what's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen to me if I fall down? What's going to happen to me if I get sick? Who's going to take care of me? Where am I going to go? I can't really clean my house anymore because I'm too old. I can't afford to have a maid come in at, $70 an hour to clean my house. And they start worrying about these things and their health starts to deteriorate. Whereas over here, you can work all those things out. If you've got a limited amount of money, say you've got $2,000 a month coming in, you can afford to have a nice apartment, a nice house to rent, and you can afford to have someone come in and be your companion, be your friend, and look after you. And it's something you really want to think about. Some of these guys say that they're just sitting back in America and they're just waiting to die. And if you're estranged from your family, that's not going to really change. Like if you don't have any children or your children are, have their own lives and you never see them and they never call you, and you're by yourself, maybe on Father's Day you get a card in the mail and that's about it. But why sit there like that? Why be totally alone and know that, you're going to end up in the nursing home somewhere or a hospice somewhere and be miserable? And you might, be there for a long time. There's people that I've talked to who've been in nursing homes for, 10, 15 years. If you were over here, you could be in your own house, eating what you want to eat, doing what you want to do, watching what you want to watch on TV, and socializing with other people that are your age. And having just, a much better life. Is the Philippines perfect? No, it's not. And I try and tell everybody it isn't. But for someone who's an elder orphan and you're there by yourself and there's nobody to help you with anything, your neighbors don't talk to you, you have very few friends. And if your friends are in the same situation as you, like you've got some friends you've known for a long time, but they're the same situation as you, they can't get around anymore either. So you maybe can talk to them on the phone or FaceTime, but you can't actually go hang out with them anymore. And so these are all things to think about. And all I can say is, I don't want to be an elder orphan. I'm lucky I'm married. But people ask me, so what are you going to do, Mark? You're married, you've got a baby, you're almost 70 years old. What are you going to do when you can't take care of yourself anymore, if you live long enough? With me, I'll probably drop dead from a heart attack. Well, let's say I don't. Let's say I make it. My mother's 89 years old right now. And let's say, I make it to 89. Well, I would hire a full-time caretaker to move in with us and look after me, and my wife can look after our child. And that's what I would do. I don't expect to be a burden on my wife, and I don't expect her to shift from the role of being a wife to being a caretaker. I would never do that to her. And so that's my plan. I eventually will hire somebody if it's needed. Some people don't need it. I've met guys, I had a friend, my mother's had a friend. He was in his 90s, and he still drove his own car and cooked his own meals and cleaned his own house, and he was fine. So it all depends on your situation. You know what your situation is. You know what your health is. You know what your abilities are. And my advice to you is when things start fading away and you know you're heading down that dark road, do something then right away. Make a decision. What are you going to do? You know, what's your plan? You can't just ignore it. You know, so have a plan. Whether you stay in your country or not is up to you, but have some kind of a plan on what you're going to do, you know, when you can't take care of yourself. And if it's just you need someone to cook for you and give you your medicine and help you if you would fall or something, then you know, it's a minor thing. You know, it's not that big of a deal to find something like that. If you want to get a full-time nurse, you can get a geriatric nurse over here for probably $500-600 a month to maybe come in and check on you every day, or come in, you know, and actually move in with you, because they're getting free rent. Maybe you find someone who's a nurse who's like in their 50s or 60s, and he or she is struggling financially. Well, they move in with you, they get free rent, and all they have to do is help you take care of yourself. And that's something they've been doing anyway most of their life. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you see me around town, come up and talk to me. If you want to be on the show, whether you're here or not, we're doing some live stream interviews now. Those are going really well. And so if you're in another country and you want to do a live stream with me, we can hook something up, and I can interview you even though you're not in Dumageddon. So keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll see you next time. Bye.